boy, where you been? It's TeeJay, the artist. You rock with me. You are the smartest, and we back with another video. Man, he hit a buzzer beater and saved thousands of lives. Don't know what that means, but Jimmy High Roller knows what it means. We about to get into the video, man. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Basketball season is around the corner. October 22nd is the first day of the regular season. We gonna be locked in, baby. We gonna be locked in. I got a goal to hit, baby. Let's get into the video. Could you turn me up in the headphones a little bit?
A game-saving play. There's nothing else like it in basketball.
Block by James.
A block.
Throws it up for Ayton. Shot blocked by Antetokounmpo.
Block by
A steal.
Quickly. Does to Lambeer. Stolen by Bird. Yes, and a foul.
A game-saving shot.
Is this the dagger?
But have you ever seen a life-saving play? This is McCall Riley, senior forward for the University of Alabama in the late 2000s.
Okay.
And he's playing in the SEC tournament. It's the biggest game of his life up to this point. Game on the line, down 3, with 2 seconds left on the clock. And he's about to hit a shot that not only nearly saved this game for his team, but quite possibly saved the lives of thousands of people.
Ow.
Riley for 3.
Yeah, you gotta explain this. It must be some mob boss stuff.
The building is rocking a bit.
Oh,
Situation.
the building finna collapse?
Domed Stadium is the best possible place that you could be.
I hope you're right.
Wait, what? Hold on.
Today's video is sponsored by DraftKings. Use your fantasy for place.
The building finna collapse?
It's March 14th, 2008. It's day 2 of the SEC basketball tournament, and Mississippi State is up on Alabama by 3 points, 59-56. There's 2 seconds left on the clock. Alabama's got to make something happen. With their season 3 points away from being over, Alabama draws up a play for this guy right here, our friend McCall Riley. Now, McCall was a great player, second leading scorer on this Alabama squad. But on this particular night, he was hot and cold the entire game. He got off to a slow start, but piled up 13 points in the final 12 minutes of the first half. Followed up by a handful of misses and 0 points in the entire second half. At least up to this point. This was McCall's last chance at this. He was a senior. His team was on the brink of elimination. His number was being called, and he answered.
Riley for 3.
With their season on the line, McCall Riley rattles in a 3-point buzzer beater to send the game into overtime. The fans explode. Mississippi State is stunned. This game's going into overtime. But right as overtime tipped off, fans at home noticed that their TVs were becoming distorted. The broadcast signal of the game degrading and getting worse. In that moment, they had no idea what was going on. But while something special was unfolding on the court, devastation was about to unfold just outside of it. As overtime gets underway, there's an emergency report that a massive storm was building up just west of the Georgia Dome where the game was being played. Within a few minutes, the storm had developed into an EF2 tornado with winds of up to 130 miles per hour. At first, fans and players within the arena were unaware of what was going on outside. But very quickly, the situation became apparent to everyone.
Everybody like, what the hell?
Mississippi State basket.
G is fouled by Stewart. That's a block.
Everybody looking up like, what's going on?
And we're hearing some rumbling behind us. There's some concern. The building is rocking a bit.
Oh my gosh.
The storm becoming so strong that it shook the arena and ripped through panels on the roof. Fans in attendance that night said it sounded like a freight train was ripping through the roof of the arena. Ben Hansborough, Mississippi State guard and brother of former Tar Heel and NBA player Tyler Hansborough, said he thought he was hearing a tornado or a terrorist attack, which is quite an odd combination of guesses, but
yeah, that is like, those two don't,
The man didn't know what was going on, cut him some slack. Officials had to stop the game as the tornado ripped past the arena and the surrounding downtown area. Fans quickly began to head for the doors, but the arena staff told
told them they can't go nowhere.
They needed to stay inside because outside it was
dangerous.
Too dangerous to even try to get out of the building. And within a few minutes, the tornado had passed through.
Oh, I get it now. They're saying that if he does not hit that shot, they would have all been outside and it would have got even worse for them. But because he hit the shot, they had to stay inside, and then
causing more damage than the staff and engineers on site had initially thought.
He don't hit that shot.
It wasn't until later that weather services were able to track the path of the tornado and its destruction, where they came to the bleak realization that this tornado came within just 100 yards of the arena, wiping out everything in its path downtown and causing a $500 million in damage. The worst realization came a couple days after, when a body was found amongst the debris of the tornado, proving that this was a fatal event. But it could have been far more catastrophic.
Because everybody would have been
McCall Riley did not hit his game-tying shot to send the game into overtime, nearly 20,000 fans would have exited the arena directly into the path, and at the exact moment the tornado hit, thousands of people would have been in.
Bro, this video could have went the other way. How McCall Riley killed thousands of people. Wow.
Danger. The downtown area that was wrecked by the tornado would have been filled with people. What could have unfolded in the following moments would have been devastating. But thanks to a buzzer beater, these fans stayed in their seats, safe and away from the storm. The game went into overtime and the streets were essentially empty. An unbelievable sequence of events that undoubtedly saved the lives of countless fans in attendance that night. About an hour after the tornado had passed, the game resumed, and finding themselves in an eerily similar situation as they were at the end of regulation, Alabama went back to McCall for one last shot. This time to win it all. And this time, he missed it. The kid was devastated. So close to leading his team to a playoff win.
Sorry, bro.
Coming up short. McCall may not have hit the game-winning shot he was hoping for, but what he did do was something far greater.
He saved
because
a lot of
he hit
lives.
Possibly the first and only life-saving shot. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the butterfly effect. When one seemingly insignificant occurrence has rippling effects, leading to some consequential event, sometimes long after the initial event. And this is just one of many butterfly effects within the world of basketball that you have to see to believe.
Take the scholarship.
Nearly 5,000 miles away from the US, Serbia has grown to become a hotspot for basketball talent.
Yeah.
Despite their love for soccer and relatively small population, their influence over the basketball world has been a remarkable feat over the last few decades. And among the countless young Serbian hopefuls looking to make a name for themselves in hoops, it would eventually be Darko Milicic, a player who didn't leave much of an impact on the court, who would inadvertently alter the story of basketball forever.
What?
Not by himself, but through a young kid who had no plans of even playing the sport. Back in 2006, Darko Milicic was beginning his 4th season in the NBA, and by this point, he had already been labeled as a huge draft bust. He had fallen out of the rotation in Detroit. The hype of him being a generational prospect had long wore off. And, well, it didn't help that the multiple future Hall of Famers chosen after him in the draft were blossoming well ahead of schedule.
Yeah, Melo could have been in Detroit.
Court, he wasn't really able to offer the Pistons much at the time. But off the court, Darko had the opportunity to offer a fellow Serbian everything. That same year, Jay Smith, assistant coach of the University of Detroit Mercy, was looking for players to fill his roster. One of the players he had his sights on was a 6'6" forward out of Serbia named Nemanja. Smith offered the kid a scholarship, but moving across the world to play basketball in the US was a massive leap for the young prospect. He could take the scholarship and make the move, or he could stay in Europe and take a shot at a career in professional basketball. Uncertain about what decision he should make, Nemanja got in touch with a friend and fellow Serbian-born player who had already made a similar transition from his home country to play basketball in the States, Darko Milicic. Now, Milicic not only assured Nemanja that he should take the opportunity, he also took him into his home and gave him time to acclimate to American life without being on his own. And over the course of that season, their friendship grew. Nemanja would go to Pistons games, throw parties at Darko's house, and even had access to the resources Darko had gained in his time in the NBA. Darko had created an entry point to American basketball for Nemanja that otherwise wouldn't have existed. Unbeknownst to him, nearly a decade later, his generosity would aid another young Serbian prospect with his journey to the US.
Luka?
After finishing his college career, Nemanja played 1 season in the Premier Basketball League in the US before
Luka
moving back home to play professionally in Serbia, where he played his last season in 2012. A relatively unremarkable career to most fans, but one that sparked inspiration in
It better not be Luka.
his younger brother, Nikola. Growing up, Nikola Jokic was always...
I should have said it. I said he kind of looked like Jokic. I said it in my head when he was shooting. I was like, he kind of looked like Jokic.
His interest in
And it is
basketball,
Jokic.
but it was never really his calling. As we all know now, horses and horse racing are where his true passion lies. By the time Nikola had become a teenager, he was competing at the amateur level in horse racing,
Serbia.
pursuing the sport as
Serbia.
more than just a hobby. In interviews, Nikola
Luka
has
from
stated that
somewhere
growing
else.
up, racing was always a priority over basketball.
Luka from somewhere
until
else.
he witnessed his brother's journey, his transition to the US, the connections he made, and the level he had
Slovenia.
reached in the sport, that for the first time,
Come on,
making
TeeJay.
a career out of basketball materialized into a possibility for a young Nikola Jokic. And
So if it was not for Darko Milicic, we might not be seeing Nikola Jokic.
at 14 years old, Nikola made the decision to forego any aspirations of becoming a
Darko Milicic is the forefather for Nikola Jokic.
horse racer and put all of his efforts into basketball. Now 15 years, 3 MVPs, and an NBA championship later, turns out that was probably the right decision. If it wasn't for Darko opening his doors for an old friend from Serbia, Nikola's brother may have opted out of college in the States. He may have stayed home and pursued other interests, as his only real tangible
And
avenue
Nikola
post
Jokic-
high school was
And Nikola Jokic will be a big ass horse breeder. I mean, he is, but he'll be like all the way professional.
at Detroit
We
Mercy.
would have never seen Nikola Jokic. Wow.
He would have never
Darko,
made the
shout out to
difficult
Darko.
transition to America. His collegiate and pro career in hoops.
See right
may have
here. This is where I was like, he kind of like, if you just like look, that looked like Nikola. This picture right here, I was thinking to myself, like he kind of looked like Jokic. I should have said it. So y'all think I'm lying? He looked like Jokic right there.
never happened.
Just a way slimmer.
The inspiration he gave to his younger brother would have gone in a completely different direction, and we may have never gotten one of the greatest basketball players of all time. Leading up to the time he was drafted, and even
Look at him.
recently,
All in the face. This is different versions of Jokic. Just like it was a chemical accident and they split the DNA, and this is all his different personalities.
Darko has given words of wisdom, encouragement, and advice to Nikola Jokic, continuing to be a valuable friend to the Jokic family long after he helped Nemanja nearly 2 decades ago. After 10 years in the NBA, Darko Milicic retired a champion with 10 solid seasons to his
Wow.
name. He never shook the label as being the guy that shouldn't have been drafted 2nd overall in one of the greatest draft classes ever.
One of the greatest
And although he
draft
never gave
classes
fans
ever.
quite what they were expecting coming into the league, he gave us something a whole lot better. One of the greatest players to ever touch a basketball.
You did it again, Jimmy. Oh wait, there's more? That was none of my wait. That was not one of my better moments, but I was mad. Uh-oh. You swung on somebody?
Ellie is lucky here. Now watch what happens, and watch him go at Ainge right there. He goes right back at him. You see Scotty Brooks is happy, and right here, look at him.
Oh, he
go up
yelling at him.
This is Mario Ellie, former guard for the Houston Rockets, and he's on path to winning his first NBA championship. This is Danny Ainge, and he's not happy about it. But this second-round
No, he
matchup
ain't
between the
happy about
Rockets
it.
and the Suns in the 1994 playoffs was heated right from the jump. Coming off a finals appearance in the previous season, the Suns were being pushed to the brink by a tough, up-and-coming Rockets team. The Suns took the first 2 games of the series, but in Game 3, Houston completely blitzed them in a 16-point blowout. But in the midst of these games, a smaller battle was taking place between Mario Ellie and Danny Ainge. Tensions were building as the play got more and more physical.
Dang!
Neither of them
Chuck.
willing to budge, leading to this moment towards the end of Game 3, an exclamation point on a blowout win. This was Mario's 3rd bucket of the entire game, and yet that didn't
Ha!
stop him from letting Ainge hear every single detail about it.
Boy
But
had
with the
6
Rockets
points.
up double digits and time winding down, this game was far too out of reach for Ainge and the Suns to change the outcome. So instead, a few plays later, Ainge does something that would change the course of NBA history.
This game is going to wind down to a
swing on a nigga.
Phoenix. Olajuwon putting the cherry on the Sunday. 118.
Oh shit! Oh!
Ainge just tried to rifle the ball in, and he.
He threw that bit hard as hell. Oh my god. He threw that bit hard as hell.
This game
oh my god. First of all, this dunk was hard. Look at
it. Putting the
by Danny
Ainge. Sunday. 118.
Shit. Danny?
Oh my goes two. Ainge just tried to rifle the ball in.
Oh, you should have swung at him. You should have hit him. Nah. That was soft. You should have hit him. You should have hit him. You gotta hit him. This is what I heard about 90s basketball today was tough. He ain't swing on him.
Oh my goes two. Ainge just tried to rifle the ball in, and he.
Look, nah. I heard y'all be fighting.
I wonder if he did.
I wonder if he did it.
Well,
yeah, he did it on purpose.
It was a bit of an overreaction. In a moment of frustration, Danny Ainge decides, if I can't beat him, I'll just hurt him. The man zips a fastball right at Mario, hitting him directly in the face. He then proceeds to play it off like it was an accident. Ainge took the low road and beamed the guy when his guard was down. And this one decision changed the direction of this entire series.
Why?
If the win in Game 3 didn't give the Rockets enough motivation, seeing their teammate get sniped by a notoriously dirty player was enough to get them going. Little did Ainge know, this decision would have much greater ramifications. Because watching all of this take place was this guy, Robert Horry, aka
Mr. Big Shot.
Big Shot Bob, aka the man with more rings than Michael Jordan. And Horry was appalled by Ainge's actions. So much so that from this day forward, Horry despised Ainge and his dirty tactics.
Man.
Years later, Horry even went as far as saying he hates Danny Ainge, and he wasn't afraid.
Hey, Danny Ainge, Mario Daly, one of my good friends, wanted to play out, he took the ball out. Danny Ainge was a pitcher. Oh. So it wasn't you really can't play it off because he was a pitcher.
To let everyone know it.
Oh, yeah.
Fortunately for him, the next season, Danny Ainge retired from the NBA, where he could no longer bother Horry or anyone else. Until the Phoenix Suns hired him to be the assistant coach the very next season in 1996.
You can't get away from
it. But the changes within the Suns organization that year did not end with the coaching staff. They were also looking to part ways with their superstar, Charles Barkley. So on August 19th, 1996,
he went to Houston.
Just 3 months after Ainge's hire, Phoenix traded away Barkley to the Houston Rockets for Sam Cassell, Chucky Brown, Mark Bryant, and Robert Horry.
Oh, I didn't know Robert Horry played for the Suns.
2 years after that fateful inbounds pass, the guy who Horry hated so much was now his coach. And as you might expect, this did not last very long. Despite their now
and then he get traded to the Lakers.
Professional relationship, Horry was not going to hide his feelings about Ainge. Practices were heated, games were even worse. And just 30 games into his time with the Suns, Horry's disdain for Ainge was put on full display for the world to see.
On Sunday night, he did this.
He put a towel right in his grill.
In a moment infamously known as the towel throw, Robert Horry tosses a sweaty towel in Ainge, his coach's face, completely dismissing him in the process. Look at the disgust on Horry's face. He really did hate that man. And in that moment, there was absolutely nothing Ainge could do about it.
This is fire.
What punishment could possibly be enough for such a...
I'm pretty sure there's way more than just these. You got to do some more of these, Jimmy High Roller.
Action.
After serving a 2-game suspension for the towel episode, Robert Horry was supposed to be back in the Phoenix uniform tonight. Instead, he's LA bound.
72 hours later, Robert Horry was no longer on the Suns. An unbelievable coincidence of a transaction, considering Ainge said the trade had nothing to do with the towel incident. The team Horry was traded to, a young, rising team in the Los Angeles Lakers, who signed Shaquille O'Neal and drafted Kobe Bryant just 6 months prior. And it was in LA where Horry would grow his legend as one of the biggest clutch shot makers in NBA history. Shots that were the deciding factor in championships, and plays that solidified the legacies of both Shaq and Kobe during their three-peat. If Danny Ainge doesn't rifle a pass at Mario Elie, Robert Horry never grows to hate the man. There's no tension between the two of them. Horry never throws the towel, and he never gets shipped off to the Lakers, completely altering and very possibly preventing a three-peat championship run half a decade later. All of this because Mario Elie got a tough bucket and Ainge had to crash out in the final moments of a playoff game that was already decided.
Ainge, it's your fault.
Years later, Robert was asked if he regretted throwing the towel or if he would change anything about that incident. A changed man, Robert said, yeah, of course. If he could do it all over again, he would have thrown a brick. And that is the butterfly effect. When one person's actions spur a series of events that leads to something much, much bigger.
I know I know the homie gonna love that one. Diggy, you love that last one. Anyway, like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff, man. This was insane. Until the next one. Peace.